Hi, this is Pending Reality, and in this video, I want to walk you through BUNSHIN Alive. So, BUNSHIN Alive allows you to connect a brain from inworld AI, bring it into BUNSHIN Terminal, and embody a character that you've created through text. It'll be animated, it'll focus on the camera. There's a trigger in there so that if you don't talk to it for a while, it'll get bored. First, we can go into the walkthrough of how to set up your brain and how to get it connected into BUNSHIN Alive. So, inworld AI is a platform that's built off of ChatGPT along with a bunch of other models on the back end to make it easy for you to create experiences that are powered by AI, whether that be for entertainment, gaming, virtual experiences, conventions, stuff like that. What this basically does is in here, you're going to write out your character's brain, their characteristics, what kind of dynamic personality do they have, what kind of content or facts do they know about. Especially if you're making something that's specific to your lore or your world, you can easily use this combined with the HDRI import functionality to create something that is wholly specific to your world building, to your lore, and have a character that's using your VRM character and tell stories. Um, it'll be updated with more features down the line, but this was a very initial integration so that you guys can start playing around with Inworld while having a real-time character that is being animated. I do want to keep expanding this so this becomes a really cool tool for the community to use. All right, so first thing, let me just explain the pricing. So the base level is to get $20 a month, and you'll get 2,000 API minutes. You'll also get some free ones too. But for now, just to get this started, you'll just want to get started with the free and create an account. Once you do set up an account with Inworld AI, you are going to have this. There's going to be other characters like an Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter that you can use as a basis. I went ahead and created a few different versions that are in line with kind of the Bunshin world. I want to show you an example of how this will work. If you don't have a character, you can go ahead and create character. This is the easiest way to do it. So type your name. Let's say AI assistant Dan. So let's say something like this, right? Has great knowledge in all things, but especially art, pop culture, media, 3D tools, etc. Right? And so once we do that, what's going to be really cool is you can do the auto generate character. So usually if you just go ahead and create, a lot of parameters are going to be unset, but you could do auto generate character and the character will be set up with a lot of parameters that are in line with the very simple core description that you provided. Now, it doesn't have to be an assistant. It could be a bunch of other things. It could be a character in your world. It could be a person that you speak to as an assistant in a podcast studio, for example. What'll be really cool down the line in future versions is that we'll be able to combine the mocap systems and the AI systems for you to start playing around with them in the same shot. But this is an initial release, so we just wanted to get you guys getting used to the toolkit and see if there's any issues, any kind of recommendations on how to make it better. All right, so now that we're in the AI Dan brain, we have a few sections. We have the basic, which is the core description, the flaws, motivations, and dialogue style. Now, the most important stuff here is going to be these top three. All right. So the core description, and it's already kind of been expanded. We wrote down it says Dan is your go to companion for any creative project. They're always ready to assist you with their vast knowledge and problem solving skills. Dan is passionate about helping you achieve your creative goals and believes. So this is awesome. So it's already expanding on the description that we gave it. If you want to give it flaws, which is really interesting, if you give it flaws, challenges, or insecurities, there'll be ways to incorporate kind of like emotional triggers in the character that can be used to create a little bit of a dynamic flair to your character. It could be a relationship that you already have, but then maybe certain flaws are triggered from certain situations. There's some really cool things in it. Like what's great about InWorld is that the characters can react in unexpected ways that feel organic. Secondly, motivation. So Dan is motivated by the desire to assist and support you in creative endeavors. They find joy in helping you explore. So this is just expanding upon that very simple core description. If you want to add more, you can. So in dialogue style, you could just go with the preset. You can change these, and this will actually change the behavior of the text that you get. Let's go with default for now. So there's a bunch of these. If you want to create a character with the type of dialogue style. Let's say, a boss could be commanding, maybe a detective is inquisitive, right? You could play with them a lot of these, but we want to just keep things simple for now, so we'll go with the default. Then once you click over to the advanced section, you're going to have even more options. The most important ones here are personality, knowledge, and their voice. You can set goals, but that's a little bit more complex for the use case that we're going for. If you just want to go for the conversational, this is enough. So, personality, you can actually add more character traits. And here you can set parameters. For example, we, relatively on the joyful side, neutral on anger. Let's say, let's go with a positive personality. We don't need an AI assistant that's neurotic. Let's go with peaceful. Let's go to open. Maybe you want them to be open in terms of the discussions that you have for creative endeavors. Once you're comfortable with the personality side, you can go to the knowledge. If you want certain lore specific aspects about your character, whether that is you already have a world that you've been making content with, maybe there is a little story that you want to start exploring, you can just copy paste that stuff that you've wrote in here and it'll retain that knowledge like it's the way the world is. So this is really cool to mess around with and you can tweak it and mess around with it. But for now, we'll skip this. Now, voice, this is interesting. So,
Hello, I'm AI assistant Dan.
right. So these are a bunch of different voices in here. You could change the pitch to make it like
Hello, I'm
pitch
AI
higher.
assistant Dan.
You can change the speed so they talk faster.
Hello, I'm
You can manipulate all of these, and there's also an 11 Labs integration if you want to get into the nitty gritty of it, which provides much more high quality voices, but it does come with additional fees from what I understand. But for now, we're going to just stick with this and keep things simple, right? Now, once you've set up, you're going to want to go ahead and go to the top right and click Save. Now that we have our character, AI Assistant Dan, the important thing we need to do is create a scene. So in the scene, let's see, AI assistant mode, AI assistant Dan is in a virtual room with the user who is trying to brainstorm a creative project, for example. So just set up the scene description and then AI assistant Dan will use this context to say, oh, this is the situation I'm in. And then after creating the scene, we need to add the character. So we'll go choose AI assistant Dan. AI assistant Dan is ready. There's some stuff like triggers here, but that's a little bit more complex outside of the scope that we're covering. So we're going to go ahead and save that. Now you have a character, AI Assistant Dan. You have a scene with AI Assistant Dan in it. For all intents and purposes, this is all you need to get started. The rest, it's just a copy paste process. Assuming you already have your VRM ready for BUNSHIN Live. So in prepping for BUNSHIN Live, you're going to copy over a few keys so that BUNSHIN Live knows how to use this specific account with your specific scene and your character so that BUNSHIN Live can get the voice data, can get the mouth movement data, and also the brain to function in that scene. You're going to have something in your left panel called integrations. Once you click on integration, it's going to bring you to this scene, and you're going to have certain API keys. You're going to have uh, your in-world API key here, and this is the copy API key. A lot of these have a copy key, so it's really useful. So your API key, your secret key, and then there's going to be something called a studio token, and that's going to be copying here, right? And then so once you get those three, you're also going to want to copy over your scene and your character. And the easiest way to do that is just go into your scenes on the left panel, click on the scene that you do want to copy over. So we just created the AI assistant mode. We'll click this, and then we'll click into it. And here, when you click on the dots to AI Assistant Dan, you can also copy the character ID for integration. So basically what we're doing, this is a very simple integration by copying over certain strings of text over so that Bunshin Live knows, hey, let's go to the in-world servers, let's get them talking, and then let's get the voices working. All right, we'll move over to Bunshin Live. So now that we're in Bunshin Terminal, we just need to copy over those values. One thing to be very wary of is the API key, secret token, stuff like this. You don't want to share it with people because that's going to give them API access to your in-world account and be able to start racking up minutes on your account. So just be wary, don't share them. With that, warning in mind, I'm going to just copy over the scene name and the character ID. So let's start with the top. Just copy paste it in here and then click off. And then once it's pink, you know that the game has registered the information. So also I'm going to go to the scene, press that double box to get the copy, and then boom. And you're just going to want to repeat this for the token, the secret, and the key, just like I showed you in the integrations panel. So now that we're in BUNSHIN Live, I've already went ahead and loaded in a character in the PBR shader. If you don't know how to do that, go ahead and check out the BUNSHIN Live overview video that will cover all the basics of loading your character in. Now that this is working, so BUNSHIN Live is an early implementation of an AI system. I wanted to introduce it so that you could get used to the process of playing around with an in-world AI character and seeing what kind of possibilities are there. Down the line, we'll be doing workshops and stuff so people can do show and tell of different systems that they have, because I think this is a really kind of unique new take. Whether that's for content, whether that's for NPCs, there's a lot of possibilities here. But one of the things I've learned going through this whole process is that experimenting with more dynamic characters and the way that you write has such a profound impact on how the character feels like when you play. But anyways, before getting sidetracked, so there's a one known bug in this mode that you have to be careful of. So it has to do with the free camera. The AI gets confused. So before doing anything, the first thing you're going to want to do is click here to start the in-world. So this will start the session with the system. It might say that the application is using a microphone. No, go ahead, ignore that. So, okay. So once you start up in-world, you're also going to press R. When it's red, that means the mic is on. Oh, wait, it might respond to me now.
Well,
Hey Dan, sorry. No, I was just doing a tutorial to show how to use the software that you're in right now. So can you just give me a minute, please?
of course, take all the time you need. I'm always here to help and provide support. In the meantime, I could tell you a fun fact about the software you're using right now. Did you know that the first version of this software was released back in 2003? It's come a long way since then, and I'm sure you'll find it very
That
useful for your
that's
work.
that's that's not true. That's not true. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can tell, it has the same issues that ChatGPT has, where there has to be some explicit information laid out. So if you're talking about it for, let's say, a tour or explaining a project or explaining lore and stuff like that, because it was specifically written to have all the knowledge, it has a little bit of a freedom to kind of start kind of extrapolating from context that you give it. If you say it's a very specific character in a world and you also give it facts and stuff like that, it's going to be a little bit more rigid with the amount of creativity that it has. So that's one caveat. Okay. So the cool thing about this is because the mic is off, it's not hearing me, but it's still active. There's supposedly a timeout. So if you're not talking for maybe 30 minutes and there's no interaction, it won't talk back to you. Um, but now that we know it's working, let's go into free camera mode. So the cool thing is once you go into free camera mode, it's not focusing on you, but turn on mic toggle and then go here. Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, player. It's great to hear your voice and chat with you. How's everything going on your end? Have you been up to anything exciting or interesting lately?
So the cool thing about this is after it talks, while it's talking engaged with you, it'll actually track you. But see, right there, a few seconds pass and then it'll start kind of getting sidetracked and kind of move away and go back to its idle animation. So that's kind of the way it's set up right now. If you're done with the in-world, you can press stop. It'll stop the session with the in-world servers. If you want to start it again, boom. Hey Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How about you? Is there anything interesting on your mind today?
And that is the basics of the Bunshing Alive system. This is just the first integration. So after this, I do want to guide based on what kind of feedback that we're getting from users that are using it to actually make content. And so if you do want to join with the experimentation, come on down, join the Discord, show the content that you're making, and would be really keen to see what kind of cool characters everybody comes up with. Hello, this is Pending Reality and shit. What was I doing? Oh my god, I didn't write a script. Jesus Christ.